We will discuss data structures. So we'll discuss data structures. Data structures. So why data structures are important? So what are the things do we need to learn? Okay. So the main thing is there is a data need to learn where it is important. It is important in gate. It is important in interviews, and it is important in cracking cracking any PSUs, that is public sector undertakings. Okay, so in gate aspect you will get around 8 to 10 marks in data structures. Okay, so if you combine data structures plus algorithms in the gate aspect, then almost you will end up getting 16 to 18 marks, which is a huge, very huge, which is a huge, very huge. These are the very huge marks that you will get if you do data structures plus algorithms in gate point of view. Okay, in interviews, if you consider interview, there are many companies, lot of companies, and I can say 100% all companies will ask you DS plus algorithms. To tackle any problem, you require a data structure, and plus to resolve this data structure you need to have some algorithm. Okay, for this you require data structures and algorithms. Okay, the data structure needs to store the data to store the data. Okay, store the data. For that, use data structure. Algorithm, this will be to storing and retrieving. So how can we, based on the some procedure, we use this algorithm? Whatever the stored data, we'll use this stored data to process some algorithm. Okay, from that we'll get our desired output. Okay, so these are the things they will be asking in the interview. So PSUs, what are the PSUs? IOCL, IOCL, power grid, power grid, power grid, and bark, and many more, and many more, many more. Okay, many more PSUs are there. Okay, to all of these, this will be very very useful. Okay, so what are the contents in the data structure? So what are the contents in the data structure? The contents we mainly discuss about three things. We'll discuss majorly, we'll discuss arrays and linked lists. We'll discuss linked list, then stacks, stacks, then queues, queues, and graphs and trees. And there is a concept that is we'll discuss advanced topics, advanced topics, some advanced topics. Okay, we'll discuss all of these. Okay, we'll discuss everything in detail. Okay, so before going to discuss, there are some kind of things, that is how the data stores. So the data stored in form of something like this one, that will be stored like this, 1 2 3, or maybe like this. That data will be like this, 1 2 3. Okay, maybe data will be like this, 1 2 3. So data is coming and going out like this, and maybe the data will be like this. Okay, we can store like this data. Okay, so 1 2 3, and you can say this is the null value. Okay, and this is very important. Maybe the data will be like this, 1 2 3 4 5, maybe like this, 1 2 3, like this, maybe 1 2, like this. So here what I'm going to say is, there is a difference between these two. Look at this, there is a difference between these two. This thing you can say the linear data. This is, you can say, linear data. So this is the array, this is the stack, and which is a queue, and which is a linked list. Okay, you can say these are the linear data. These are the non-linear data. This is the non-linear data. Linear data. What is non-linear data? This one. Okay. So here the major thing is, if you look at non-linear, so the elements, see this level the data is 1, and this level the data is 2, and this level the data is 3. Maybe we can't say it's not arranged sequentially, right? 1 2, maybe you can have something like this, 4. Okay, maybe like this. So we cannot decide. So that's why we call this as non-linear data. In linear data, the elements, these elements are arranged in sequentially. These are arranged in sequentially. These are arranged in sequentially. Okay, these are arranged in sequentially. If the data is arranged in sequentially, then that is a linear data. Otherwise that is a non-linear data. So if you consider these blue markings are linear data, you can say these are the linear data. Okay, and the things which are these graphs and trees are non-linear data. This is the non-linear data. You can say this as non-linear data. This is non-linear data. Okay, non-linear data. And here, before you going to look at details of the each topic in our lesson. So here, if you consider in data, you have kind of something like primitive data types. Primitive data types. Data types. These are the primitive data types. What are the primitive data types? That are, there is a int, integer, there is a character, There is a bool, float, and pointer. These are some kind of primitive data types. Okay, and if you look at there is a thing, another thing is non-primitive data types. Non-primitive primitive data types. So non-primitive data types are nothing but are nothing but which are created by user, which are created by user. So what are those? Those are linear data types, linear data structures, and non-linear data structures. So we have discussed linear and non-linear data structures, right? So in linear, array, stack, queue, and linked lists will come. But in non-linear, trees, graphs will come. Okay. So the major advantage over here is the major advantage with linear data. The major advantage with linear data is user can traverse all of its element in one go. All of its elements in one go. In one go. That's why it is a linear data. But in non-linear data, we cannot traverse. There is a tree like this, and there is something like this, and we cannot. First, we need to come there. Need to come two, then three, four, five, like this. Either we can traverse like this, or we can traverse like this, or then this, that. So these are the different types. So we'll look at major things. So what are the major things in our session? So what are the major things we are going to discuss in our session? So what are the recap things we have learned? Recap session. What is the recap? So we have seen where it is important, where it is important, where it is important. And the second one is linear data, linear versus non-linear. And the next thing is primitive, primitive versus non-primitive. Okay, these are the things we have seen so far. In coming lectures, we'll discuss each topic, that is arrays, stacks, queues, and linked list, and then trees, advanced data structures, graphs. We'll discuss each topic very clearly, then we dive deep into the each lecture.